Hey, what's up, guys? In this video, I'm going to talk to you about what I was thinking, my mindset during my worst times, during the time that I was committing the most amount of crime. And for those of you that already know my backstory, there were a combination of events and circumstances that left me in a position in life where I was convinced I was going to prison for a long time anyway. I became hopeless. I didn't see any reason to try to do right or continue to work a regular job. It didn't make any sense to me. So the combination of things that happened left me in this state of depression, and that depression eventually led to anger. Anger at myself, anger at my situation, and anger at the fucking world that created a lot of this situation that I was in. So that anger one day boiled over. And with hopelessness combined, I decided that I'm just going to fucking go all out. You know, if that's what it is, they're accusing me of all this shit, they're going to put me in prison anyway, then I might as well just fucking go crazy and go all out and become that bad guy that they're saying I am already, when I wasn't at that time. So I decided that that's what I was going to do. I was already depressed. I was already drinking a lot. I was already staying out during the night. And I started being around the wrong kind of people. And they basically followed me in whatever direction I went. And so now I had a whole crew of people behind me. Multiple different crews of people who did different things. I never targeted innocent people. Okay? It's very important that you guys remember that. It's a big difference between someone who's just a criminal piece of shit and will hurt anybody versus someone who's a criminal like myself who only did bad to bad people, to people who willingly put themselves in a situation where they had to have understood that this is part of it, that this could happen to them. And not only that, that wasn't enough. For the most part, they had to have done something even beyond that in order for me to target my eyes on them and want to do something to them. And, you know, I'm not innocent in this whole thing either. Yeah, technically I was breaking the law, but I wanted you guys to understand the mindset, how it developed, and especially how I ended up feeling towards cops and government, any type law enforcement. I made a video in the past where I mentioned that it was during this time where I was by far my most dangerous in life. And the reason I say that is because, you know, I carried guns everywhere I went. I was committing a lot of violence, a lot of different type crimes. I had no fear at all because I was already convinced I'm going away and I didn't care if I died. So with no fear of death, with no fear of consequence, with this anger inside of me, this rage, and guns everywhere, it was a recipe for disaster. In addition to that, the way I felt towards law enforcement was very clear at the time. And how I felt was, I'm not interfering in the lives of any other people other than these criminals. Okay? And the same way I do to them, they could do unto me. That's fine. But the cops were interfering in the lives of everybody. They were going out of their way to fuck with other people and to hurt other people, put people in cages, destroy families, and for what? For money. So I look at these cops as no better at all than the gangbangers. At all. And I've said that to them many times, that they're just fucking punk, gang motherfuckers wearing blue uniform. And that's it. I didn't fear them at all. But that's how I thought about them. You know, you leave me alone, and I leave you alone. But the minute you cross over and interfere in my life and try to do something that's going to cause harm to me or anyone around me, we have a big fucking problem. And you're just a man, just as I am. I don't give a fuck about man's law. I don't care about that. So I'm very lucky, and many of those cops are very lucky also, that the shit never went bad. Because for that time in my life, not only myself, but a lot of the people around me, we had no respect for cops. And we were very, very ready and willing to put them down if it came to that. very thankful to God that it never did. But that's how I was thinking back then, towards police. I didn't understand that there are laws and these are the enforcers of the law. I didn't care about none of that. It was always on a personal level. I don't fuck with you, you don't fuck with me. You start crossing those lines and interfering into my life, then you're my enemy. And if you're my enemy, then whatever happens to you is fair. You put yourself in the situation. I don't come interfere with what you do. Don't fucking interfere with what I do. And that's how we felt. And I know that a lot of you are not going to understand, but you have to factor in the whole thing here. The combination of reasons why I felt that way. Hopelessness is a terrible thing. No fear of death is a horrible thing. Violent tendencies, the ability and willingness to commit violence by itself is a huge problem. And when you're convinced that you're going to prison for decades anyway, you have nothing to lose. So I know there's a lot of law enforcement that watch these videos now, so don't start bitching now and take offense to what I've just said. This is what it is. That's how it was back then, all right? I'm no longer there, and you're no longer there. And though I've changed in a lot of ways, I'm still all about respect. And back then, I viewed any cops, any law enforcement interfering with what I did as disrespect. And I know you're not going to agree with that, but that's how I felt. And a lot of people still do feel that way, that you're just another fucking group of gang members who happen to have the government on their side, but you get no respect for what you do. None. I was willing to stand toe-to-toe or with guns, with whatever you wanted. But when the cops come, they come in an army. They're deathly afraid of anything one-on-one. And for that reason also, I didn't have any respect for them. I thought they were bitches. I thought they were pussies. And I thought that without their guns and their badge, these guys are fucking nothing. Nothing. They have no heart. And this is how I felt back then, guys. So I share this with you, as always, because I want you to understand the person that I was, the path that I've traveled down in order for me to reach the point that I currently am at. I don't have any negative feelings towards cops. I do, but not any specific ones, and my negativity towards them is just for certain ways that they act. I don't like this bully shit. I don't like their thinking that there's something special. I don't like them fucking shooting people out of their own fear and cowardice. I don't agree with any of that stuff. But on a personal level, for the stuff that's in the past, I've let it go. It's over. I went to prison, you did what the fuck you do, and that's it. Here we are. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll talk to you next time. Thanks.